Okay folks, this is going to be a follow-up video to the video that we had when I said we had trouble with the backhoe stabilizer. So I did a temporary repair. We got these levers working now really good. I'm going to pull this up now and I'm going to see if we can improve on that design a bit. Okay folks, you can see how I got it all apart. And let me see if I can lay my light in here. See, there's no adjustments on these rods here, and they're for your outriggers. Now, you can see for your backhoe controls, there's adjustments here, and on the actually, there's only adjustments on the two inner ones. There's not even adjustments on the outside ones. So it is what it is, isn't it? A little bit of play in them, but they all work well. They work extremely well. But I guess it's as good as it has to be. Now, I'm going to show you what I had intended on doing. Let's go over here and we'll have a little look-see. I had intended on, hang on now folks, bear with me for a second. I had intended on putting these things on here and getting a small amount of adjustment if I ever needed it. But I'm going to tell you something. When you look down and you see how that's done, that would be kind of a major. Let me see if I can get this. Well, you can see the clearance here to use flat pins going through. So these would be really in the way. Got slots in it. We have to totally redesign that bracket, and I don't want to burn up the powder coat. So to be honest with you, I think what I've done is like one viewer pointed out yesterday, the other day, when Kubota welded this rod onto here, they didn't have the clock position quite right. It was probably off 1/8 of an inch, which is not much, but it's a lot because the slots in here won't let it go all the way. So if you got a situation where your outrigger is not going down very good, it's because the clock position wasn't welded right. Now, hang on, see if I can support this now. Somebody said, well, why don't you grind this out here? Well, there's a nice ridge here, folks. Let me get the light on. You see the ridge? And I really didn't want to grind out the ridge. So what I ended up doing, if you want to refer back to the other, by the way folks, someone's going to ask me what that is. That's for my hydraulic thumb for the backhoe, which is right there. So what I'm going to do, I ended up doing, I heated this up and I bent them back, and that gave me the perfect amount of travel. I put in an oversized bolt here. It's not worn, it was just, the sloppiness was built into it. This thing only has 160 hours on it, and I don't say 40 of them are in the backhoe. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take these levers off and repaint them and just reinstall and let things be, because I really don't think that the solution that I have is really going to outweigh the cost and the time. It's working now, and it's not something that's going to go out of adjustment again. It was just never done properly when it left the factory. Now it's working as good as it ever did. This one here in particular, for the sitting on the tractor for the left outrigger, was always lazy going down, and just because it didn't have enough travel. So again, I think the original fix that I did the other day was probably as good as you're ever going to get it. unless you want to completely modify this area here, and I don't want to go burning up powder coat. So, like I say, I'm going to take this apart now, I'm going to clean it up and put it back together and call it a day.
So what did you conclude? I know you were back and forth on whether you were going to do it or not.
Well, I don't think that the outcome is going to justify the time and the cost of modifying it.
No?
Because I really, like this valve is either up or down. There's nothing there that can wear other than a bushing, and there's no bushings in it. The amount of slop that was in it was acceptable if Kubota at the factory had to weld this round stock. If they had to come ahead probably about another 5 degrees,
Oh yeah?
I wouldn't have had to bend that back. Now I could have let the welding go and done it myself. But it's working so good now. It's working better than the tractor was ever new, right? The only thing I didn't do the other day, I didn't paint these because I figured I was going to take out this all together and put in adjustable.
Okay.
But it you know, like I can modify all this, but there's no point. There's nothing there to cause that to go out of adjustment enough to justify putting an adjuster there.
Well, that makes sense to me.
Well, sometimes sometimes you just can't re-engineer stuff if there's no need of it.
No, and once you got to adjust it now, it'll stay?
It'll stay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because there's only a little valve, a little plunger valve down here,
Right.
a little tiny one, and that's only traveling like maybe a ½ inch,
Wow.
maybe an inch the most. So there's nothing here to go out of the way. So I'm just going to take that apart, and I'm just going to paint it up, and then I'm going to put it back, and I'm going to say I'm happy with it.
Sounds good to me.
Well,
Yeah, you know, I mean, why change it when you don't need to?
what's the point? There's nothing wrong with their design.
No.
You know, the problem was it was just not set up properly in the jig at the factory,
Yeah.
and it happens. It's not Kubota's fault.
No.
You know, to some people that looks like a Mickey Mouse thing, but it's not. It actually works.
Oh yeah.
So you know, why re-engineer it?
Yeah, exactly. Yep, sounds about right to me.
I got all the stuff there to do it with,
Yeah.
but I just don't see the point.
Yeah, sometimes you need to evaluate it more, you know, and
Yeah.
try to see if you need it.
Well, I had some other things, as you know, to do on this. So the other day when I did that video on that, that was kind of an exploratory measure, because starting out, I wasn't sure if I had a mechanical problem or if I had a hydraulic problem.
Yeah, that's right.
So I could see myself taking apart all this valving down here if it was a hydraulic problem. But when I got into it, I lifted this up and I pushed this another 1/4 inch that way, and the pad worked perfect. But they had a bolt put in here which was a metric bolt, and it had a lot of slop. Then when this was up and I pushed it back down, it worked perfect. So what I did is I took the metric bolt out and I put a 5/16 standard bolt in with a nylon lock nut, and then I heated this up and it worked perfect. I only brought it back probably about 5 degrees, and it worked perfect.
Yeah, that's all it needed.
I'm happy. So I'm going to, like I say, I'm going to take it apart now. I'm going to clean it up and paint it, and then I'm going to put it back, and I'm going to consider it as good as fixed as you can get.
Sounds good.
Cool?
Cool.
Okay, guys and gals, they're painted. While you're in here, folks, there's a bushing down here, and there's a bushing here, so you want to take your fluid film and loosen up these bolts, just haul it out a bit, and lubricate the shaft and put it back in. It's only a 12mm bolt, there's only a few seconds to do it. And you can give these a little tiny twist on each end. Don't twist them too tight because you won't get a return on your lever, but it does take the slop out. So might be a preventive maintenance thing, you know, that we can all start to do once in a while. Should work out well. Okay, folks, you can see how dry that bushing is, that shaft is. So just slack these up and push that shaft out that way, and then you can get some lube down, and then you can take them off and fill it in behind the washer. should make a huge difference. I'm telling you folks, you can notice the difference when you lube up that shaft. That one going through, it's a big difference. Also too, something else that you can keep an eye out. You check down there where your spool valves are too, and also see if that's filled up with dirt or grime or sand, and if it is, you might want to take some brake cleaner and some, or whatever you have. I mean, a pressure washer even, I suppose, would work, and clean that up. Mine's a bit greased there now, so that's okay. I don't mind that so much. But you want to make sure that there's no piles of sand and stuff down there. Eventually it'll work its way down into the valving.
All done. Back together?
Yep, back together. And I'll show you something. Anybody got a BX with a backhoe on it? Something that you can look out for is these bellows. They tear. Let me see here now if I can show you what I mean. You see how this edge is here?
Oh, yeah.
That's supposed to go down here, but what happens is they tear. Look.
Oh, yeah.
See it?
The rubber breaks down, yeah.
They just rip apart. It's common. Okay, so keep an eye on that. I'm going to replace this one. We'll have, what? Have them tomorrow?
Yes.
They're only, what, $4 each or something?
Yeah, that's all, yeah.
So I'll put the part number, folks, in the item description. I can bet you anybody who got a BX with minimal use on it, they're ripped.
That's right. This Canada price, they're probably $1 in the US.
Well, if you're comparing to American dollars, they're probably 60 cents in the
Yeah,
States.
that's
Right? Yeah, so just keep an eye out. There's something for you to, something to you keep in mind out. Keep an eye out for it. You can take them and pull them apart, see?
Oh, yeah.
And then of course what happens is they go in there and they look like crap.
And we can't have that.
We can't have that, no. So we got them ordered and they'll be here tomorrow. So that's another little thing you can keep an eye out back there. The rest of it is pretty good. I have seen these develop leaks. And what you do is you go in with your wrench and just tighten them up. They got a tendency to work themselves loose a little bit. So, and once you do that, you won't have any issues. It's not, people think the worst and say, oh my gosh, I got a bad leak, must be a line, but it's just the lines usually come loose.
Okay.
So that's it.
Yeah.
What do we got going on here? Well, that's just a rubber. Coming down. It's always nice to look them over and
Oh, it is, isn't it?
yeah. And there you go. And that was right from the factory like that.
Oh, yeah.
It's stuck down in the bottom, so you just push them up, right? So folks, that's it. I'm content with that now. It's working, and there's no point in reinventing the wheel here.
No.
It was a bit of slop, plus the fact it was the way it was welded at the factory, so we're going to leave it at that. Grease it all up like I told you. This main shaft that goes in through here, it's a good idea to keep that greased as well, or with fluid film, spray it. And we'll call it a video. So you guys take care, hope you enjoyed this, and God bless.